When I used to think back on my life, I used to get aggravated, get angry about it, and like, why did this happen to me? Being the victim mentality. At the end of the day, I'm who I am today because of my past, and that's what a lot of people need to accept.
There's not really one answer as to why a young person becomes involved in crime. Picture a young boy building a tower of blocks, and each block is a risk factor. And eventually, if you put enough blocks on the tower would fall, and that would be their involvement in crime. But one risk factor on its own and the tower doesn't fall. So research brings different professions together. There are genetic factors, there are social workers involved, psychologists, lawyers. They're all part of the solution to youth crime.
When I first came here, it was pretty hard to find people that will connect and understand how I felt. Because I felt like some kids, when you tell them what I went through and how I came up to be here, they'll sort of laugh at you. And with the African kids that come up here, they can't be themselves. They have to literally create their own new person. People belittle them and they will create an image on them. And then that creates anger within them, like, hey, I'm not who you guys say I am. And you end up acting on anger. As soon as I end up in the system, it's so hard to leave because the more stuff you get into, the bigger image you are to the police and the more charge they give you. It feels like the community will push you away. So the only people you have close to you are your friends that you're committing crime with as well.
One of the most consistent findings in criminology is something called the age crime curve. And this basically says that young people are more likely to be processed for a criminal offence than any other population group. So these are flirtations, and for most young people, they're things that they'll grow out of.
All the young kids that think that doing what we're doing is cool are like, you know what, it's time for me to work on myself. So I started planning on myself and actually making goals.
What we really want to do is allow a young person to replace a criminal identity with a pro-social identity. It could be as an athlete, it could be an artist, it could be a student. That's going to allow them to make positive networks, allow them to earn an income and self-esteem, to be a meaningful contributor to the community.
So for me, I started doing bricklaying 3 years ago. That's like one of my first goals, to work, get money, legal money. I found out about footy like 2 years ago and I'm putting all my heart into it.
It takes more than a desire for change or knowing that change is necessary. The path to the overall stoppage of crime is not linear. So we need people to kind of build that into their expectations and not push the panic button too early.
For younger people that have been in the system, your only limit is yourself. If you think that you're gonna be in there, you're gonna be in there, but if that's not all your life is supposed to be and you put everything into it, you won't be, because it's all your choice at the end of the day. Put in 100% on anything you do in life instead of going 50%.
If the public kind of believe that all crime is violent and this crime is on the rise, and that informs solutions like tough on crime responses that are actually going to have no impact, we need to define what the problem is before we can then develop solutions that actually work. And that's the role that research plays.